Aldo Leopold's essay, Thinking Like a Mountain, from his influential book A Sand County Almanac, 1949, is a philosophical exploration of humanity's relationship with nature, specifically focusing on the interconnectedness of ecosystems and the consequences of disrupting this balance. The essay recounts Leopold's early experience as a young hunter, his role in killing a wolf, and the profound realization that came from witnessing the effects of that act. The essay is brief yet impactful, offering a reflection on the concept of ecological interconnectedness and advocating for a broader, more thoughtful perspective on environmental conservation, one that requires thinking like a mountain. Introduction. The Call of the Mountain. Leopold opens with the idea that the mountain understands a truth that humans often overlook: the intricate relationships within ecosystems. The mountain knows the importance of wolves, deer, vegetation, and all other elements that sustain its balance. This concept of thinking like a mountain means adopting a long-term, ecological perspective that values every part of the natural system, rather than focusing solely on short-term human desires or convenience. Leopold contrasts this wisdom with humanity's often short-sighted actions, which prioritize immediate gain over ecological harmony. The wolf incident, a turning point. The central anecdote of the essay recounts a day when Leopold, as a young hunter, joined a group in shooting a wolf. At that time, Leopold shared the prevailing belief that fewer wolves would mean more deer and, consequently, better opportunities for hunters. The hunters approached the dying wolf, and Leopold describes seeing a fierce green fire in the wolf's eyes as it faded. This moment becomes a turning point for Leopold. He realizes that killing the wolf was not merely an act of hunting but a disruption of a much larger ecological system. The wolf's death had implications far beyond what Leopold, in his youthful ignorance, had understood at the time. The role of wolves in ecosystems. Leopold reflects on the role of wolves in maintaining ecological balance. Wolves, as apex predators, regulate deer populations. Without wolves, deer numbers grow unchecked, leading to overgrazing of vegetation, erosion of soil, and the eventual degradation of the entire ecosystem. The essay demonstrates how wolves are not just predators but essential players in preserving the health of forests and mountains. Their presence ensures that plant life thrives, which in turn supports a diverse range of other species. Leopold argues that the elimination of wolves, driven by human short-sightedness, creates ecological imbalance that ultimately harms the land and its inhabitants. A critique of human hubris. Leopold critiques humanity's tendency to impose its will on nature without understanding the long-term consequences. He argues that humans often view nature in terms of its immediate utility, deer for hunting, forests for timber, rather than considering the intricate and interdependent relationships that sustain ecosystems. The killing of wolves, motivated by the desire to increase deer populations for hunters, exemplifies this hubris. Leopold highlights the unintended consequences of such actions, pointing out that they often lead to ecological collapse, soil erosion, and loss of biodiversity. Learning to think like a mountain. Leopold introduces the concept of thinking like a mountain, which involves understanding the interconnectedness of ecosystems and taking a long-term view of environmental consequences. To think like a mountain is to recognize that every species, from wolves to trees, plays a critical role in maintaining the balance of nature. This perspective requires humility, patience, and a respect for the complexity of natural systems. Leopold contrasts this ecological wisdom with humanity's tendency to act impulsively, focusing on immediate benefits rather than the health of the entire ecosystem. The cost of short-term thinking. Leopold examines the ecological and moral costs of short-term thinking. By eliminating predators like wolves, humans disrupt the balance of nature, leading to overpopulation of prey species and subsequent environmental degradation. He describes how unchecked deer populations destroy forests, which then failed to provide shelter, food, and protection for other species. This chain reaction, he argues, demonstrates the interconnectedness of nature and the dangers of ignoring it. Leopold emphasizes that human actions must account for these connections if we are to live sustainably within the natural world. The wisdom of the mountain. The mountain, in Leopold's metaphor, possesses an innate understanding of the ecological balance needed for its survival. It knows that wolves are essential to prevent deer from overgrazing the vegetation. This knowledge is instinctive, forged over millennia of natural processes. In contrast, humans, with their focus on control and exploitation, often fail to recognize the intricate relationships that sustain life. Leopold calls for a shift in perspective, urging humanity to align its actions with the wisdom of the mountain. This means valuing the health of ecosystems as a whole, rather than prioritizing individual elements for short-term gain. The broader implications for conservation. Thinking like a mountain serves as a broader critique of human-driven environmental destruction and a call to embrace ecological thinking. Leopold emphasizes the importance of maintaining biodiversity, protecting apex predators, and respecting the interconnectedness of natural systems. The essay also highlights the ethical dimension of conservation. Leopold argues that humans have a moral responsibility to act as stewards of the environment, preserving its balance for future generations. Major themes in the essay. Ecological interconnectedness. Leopold demonstrates how every element of an ecosystem, from predators to vegetation, is interconnected. Disrupting one part affects the whole system. The role of predators. The essay highlights the ecological importance of predators like wolves in maintaining balance and preventing overpopulation of prey species. Human hubris. Leopold critiques humanity's tendency to impose its will on nature without understanding or respecting its complexity. Long-term thinking. The concept of thinking like a mountain emphasizes the need for patience, humility, and a long-term perspective in environmental decision-making. Conservation ethics. Leopold advocates for a moral and ethical approach to conservation, recognizing humanity's responsibility to protect and preserve the natural world. The legacy of thinking like a mountain. Leopold's essay remains a foundational text in environmental ethics and conservation. It challenges readers to reevaluate their relationship with nature and consider the broader consequences of their actions. By introducing the idea of thinking like a mountain, Leopold provides a framework for sustainable living that respects the complexity and interconnectedness of ecosystems. The essay's themes resonate in contemporary environmental debates, particularly those concerning biodiversity, predator conservation, and rewilding efforts. For example, the reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone National Park in the 1990s demonstrated the validity of Leopold's insights, as the restored predator population helped rebalance the ecosystem. Conclusion. A call to ecological wisdom. Thinking like a mountain is both a personal reflection and a philosophical call to action. Leopold's experience of killing a wolf becomes a metaphor for humanity's broader impact on the environment, illustrating the need for humility, respect, and a deeper understanding of ecological systems. Through his eloquent prose and profound insights, Leopold challenges readers to adopt a more thoughtful and ethical approach to conservation, one that aligns with the wisdom of the mountain and ensures the health of the planet for future generations.